My mother-in-law is furious that I haven't asked the groom's sisters to be bridesmaids and acted like a beach. My fiancé and I are getting married in September 2022. I have one sister, and my fiancé has one brother and two sisters. I have asked my sister to be my maid of honor and a few close friends to be my bridesmaids. My fiancé has asked his best friend to be his best man, and his brother and a few close friends to be his groomsmen. We both felt we shouldn't feel we have to ask anybody we didn't feel comfortable asking and chose not to interfere with each other's choices out of respect for one another. I get on well with my fiancé's younger sister, Sil 2, however I struggle with his older sister, Sil 1, sometimes, and I am not close to either of them as I live 3.5 hours away. So I decided to just ask my own sister and close friends instead, which I thought was perfectly understandable. Both my fiancé and I still wanted to include his sisters on the day, so we decided that we would like Sil 1 to be a witness and Sil 2 to do a reading during the ceremony. We also wanted to ask my sister's partner of 6 years to also be a witness, so there's one witness from each side. So I attended Sil 2's hen do back in March, and shared a lodge in Center Parks with his mum and Sil 1 for the weekend. I hadn't asked my bridesmaids by this point, and was taken aback when my future mother-in-law and Sil 1 began very clearly putting pressure on me to ask both of my fiancé's sisters to be my bridesmaids. Both future mother-in-law and Sil 2 were discussing future brother-in-law's ex-wife. Sister-in-law, it all went downhill with her after the bridesmaid incident. Mother-in-law, she didn't ask Sil 1 or Sil 2 to be bridesmaids, which I wasn't happy about. She then asked them to be ushers and I said no, and I was upset because looking back at the video it's all her family and not ours. Sister-in-law, yeah, that's why I asked only family on both sides to be my bridesmaids and not my friends. I sat there awkwardly knowing full well I have no intention of asking either of his sisters to be bridesmaids, attempting to change the conversation. So I left this weekend feeling pretty stressed about telling them they weren't going to be bridesmaids, and spoke to my fiancé about the conversation that took place and how uncomfortable I felt. He agreed that it was a good idea to tell his family about our decisions for both bridesmaids and groomsmen, and he said he was happy to do this himself. So back in April he called both his sisters, and they were fine with it. They in fact said they didn't expect to be asked, and said they're happy with the role they've been asked to fulfill. It went smoothly at first, no drama. My fiancé then decided to FaceTime his parents to let them know as well. So when he tells his mum about my bridesmaid choices and that I won't be asking either of his sisters, his mum goes crazy. She rushed off into the background of the screen and can be heard screaming, shouting and crying. Apparently the call lasted around 45 minutes later that evening. I get a WhatsApp notification for a group which contains me, my fiancé, his mum, his siblings and their partners, which I will copy and paste below. To my dearest family, today I have had the news that I have been dreading. Not that my father has passed away, although I'm not sure I could have been any more upset, as I thought this would never happen to me and my family again, because as usual I had more faith in my family members, but sadly I was proved wrong. Groom and bride have decided, as you know, not to include groom's older sister and groom's younger sister as a bridesmaid at their wedding as his bride's sister. Why, I asked myself, as they are all sisters and surely deserve to be treated the same. Could it be that groom's older sister? Groom's younger sister? Or maybe both don't fit the model criteria, surely not. One couldn't be this vain and put beauty and a perfect figure before a family member, could they? To say I am disappointed is an understatement, as I may not have achieved a degree in my life, but I do have life experience, and I know for a fact that friends come and go but family is forever, not that there is a limit of how many bridesmaids one can have at a wedding. Yes, groom's older sister has been given a role the same as bride's sister's partner, who isn't even an in-law yet, and groom's younger sister a poem to read. History is repeating itself, sadly not worthy of having the same role as the bride's sister. Groom, you should know me by now and know that I will not have my children treated second best to anyone else's. It's up to groom's older sister and groom's younger sister if they want to accept these inferior roles, but I know what I would do. Just as well, groom, that you only have one mom, or I guess I would have been substituted too. I was totally gobsmacked after receiving this and left the WhatsApp ground immediately and deleted my mother-in-law on Facebook at my fiancé's request, so she was less likely to contact me directly and so that I wouldn't see any potential status updates which may have provoked me to respond to her. She has my mobile number, but I haven't received anything directly from her. Since then, I have had zero contact with my future mother-in-law. Initially, I did get a message from Sil 2 after all of this happened, offering support and saying she was ashamed of her mother's behavior. I thought after a week or so mother-in-law would look back and be embarrassed by her behavior and we might get an apology from her. Nope. A few weeks later, mother-in-law sent me a very bland birthday card. Usually her language is very warm and OTT, with a check inside. I don't see this as an apology, and chose not to acknowledge or accept the check. My mother-in-law asked my fiancé if I'd received the card and the check. He told her firmly that yes, I had, and that I would not be accepting it, that it does not make up for the way she spoke to us. A sincere apology would have been much better. This caused uproar. She has said she stands by everything she said, that nothing she would have done would be right, that she will always stick up for her daughters, and has accused my fiancé of losing his family values, and that fiancé and I have to face the consequences of our actions. My fiancé has been great in sticking up for me and us both throughout this whole ordeal, but the barrage of emotional abuse from his family continues. My future father-in-law, who is usually level-headed, sent a long text to my fiancé which said, The protagonist remains silent whilst she continues to speak through her mouthpiece. You, groom. Referring to me. He said that me declining the check was abhorrent. He asked my fiancé, how do you think it makes your sisters feel, both of their brothers getting married and not being bridesmaids on either occasion? And that they will hold a grudge for years to come because of it. He asked my fiancé, how would my parents feel if I had asked Sil 1 and Sil 2 to be bridesmaids and not my sister? Which isn't really the same thing. His sisters have also now started saying they're hurt by the decision, which is a bit of a backtrack on how they originally reacted. Sil 2 actually said her fiancé wouldn't have let her ask her own sister and not his sister to be a bridesmaid at their wedding. Thankfully my FDH isn't like that. They also feel their partners have been overlooked, one is engaged, one is married with kids, and that it's not fair to include my sister's partner and not theirs. Clearly this is simply a matter of there simply being too many people for all of the roles if we also want to include our close friends, which we very much do, and also not wanting a huge bridal party. People aren't entitled to whatever role they want, surely that's our choice? My fiancé and I won't be changing our minds on our decision, but if anybody has experienced a similar situation and has any advice for dealing with a crazy, controlling, overbearing mother-in-law then please share. My cheating ex wants me to buy a present for his other child. My ex cheated on me for most of our relationship. I found out during my pregnancy with our daughter and he had the other girl pregnant too. My daughter was a June baby and theirs was an October baby. They also got married that following February. To say things between us have been tense is an understatement. Ex's wife didn't know immediately that he was with me, or that we had been together since we were 15. She hated me for overshadowing her own pregnancy with mine. She hated me even worse when she needed an emergency C-section and had so many complications that a hysterectomy had to be carried out. The tension between us all then was at its worst. Ex's wife wanted me to give up my daughter for them to raise both girls together as real sisters, and when I refused we had all the drama. I don't even think she would have been able to love my daughter had I done that. But I think she wanted more than one badly enough that she thought my daughter would do since she was already born. Ex and I now communicate through an app mostly. We share custody of our daughter 14 and exchanges happen at school pickup time to minimize the contact between us. This has worked for many years, though I know it is not ideal for my daughter overall. My daughter and her half-sister have a very high conflict relationship. It's over me and Ex's wife. Ex's daughter has picked up her mom's attitude toward me and dislikes me and believes I keep her sister from her real family, and my daughter doesn't like Ex's wife, which annoys her half-sister. This has been communicated to me a number of times by my daughter and also by my ex, who will send random texts about it. I never respond because our mandated communication is done through the app. Ex and his wife had some financial problems over the last 6 months. For my daughter's birthday she got a card and a gift card, and my ex told her in advance he wouldn't be able to get her much. I was able to get her a present as normal though. I splurged a little this year and got my daughter a gaming laptop. She was so happy. Ex became aware of this when my daughter spent a bit of time with her grandparents and she asked them if she could bring the laptop to their house. Ex asked her about it and she told him I bought it as her birthday gift. Now Ex's daughter's birthday is a couple of weeks away and he wants me to buy her a gift, something I have never done before. He said the money situation is still tight and he doesn't want her to get nothing. I told him I would not be buying her a gift and he blew up the app in my phone saying I should be doing this so his daughter isn't left with a lackluster birthday. Ex said I had never done anything to help the dynamic with the girls and never cared about the pain he and his wife were in, and this was one thing I could do. Am I the a-hole?
My boyfriend's creepy brother takes pictures of me. When I told him, he did this. My partner and I are gay. His younger brother is straight. They are very close and his brother spends a lot of time at our house or we at his. We've been together for 8 years but I've known them for longer. I always got along with his brother but for some time he's been acting weird. At first I didn't really notice anything. A little over a year ago he started touching me more. Nothing inappropriate, but almost every time he's close to me. If I'm walking by he'd pull me to his side or he'd start playing with my hair. Lately he also started pulling me into his lap or coming up behind me and putting his arms around me. He also sometimes makes comments about how I look. I know that none of this is really a big deal or anything that could be called inappropriate, but sometimes it makes me uncomfortable. I brought it up to my partner but he said he didn't notice anything and that I could just be overreacting. I thought he could be right because I'm close to finishing uni so I'm more stressed than usual. I had brushed it off until 2 days ago. My laptop broke down while I was trying to finish an important paper and my partner had his at work with him. I asked his brother if I could borrow his laptop and he came by to drop it off. I finished the paper yesterday evening and downloaded it. I somehow messed up and accidentally put it in some random folder. I had titled it, my name, title of paper, so I typed my name in the search bar. My paper did show up but there was also another folder with my name on it. Curiously, I opened it. It was filled with pictures. Most of them were pictures we took over the years with me and other people in it, but a few of them made me feel sick. Most of the pictures were harmless, but between the normal pictures there would be some of me sleeping or changing. Some were just me playing with my dog but taken from a strange angle that made it seem like someone was trying to take a picture without being noticed. I had to stop looking because my hands started shaking and I felt like I couldn't breathe. My partner came home shortly after and I showed him what I found. I told him I don't want his brother around me anymore. I won't keep them from seeing each other, but I didn't want to be there for it. He looked at me like I'm insane. He tried to calm me down but wouldn't listen to what I said. He just kept repeating that I should stop being so childish and that none of what I was saying was a reason for me to not want him around. He said I shouldn't have found those pictures anyway and that I should know better than to snoop through other people's things. I didn't really know what else to say because he kept talking over me and trying to twist my words. I slept in the guest bedroom and hadn't seen him before he went to work. He'll be home soon and I know he'll expect an apology for how I acted, but I still feel sick thinking about it. Did I really overreact? Edit. When my partner came home we had another talk. I see now that I was making a big deal out of nothing. My partner explained that he knew about the pictures and had taken some of them himself. He tried to explain it to me yesterday but I was too hysterical to understand what he was saying. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Update. When I made this post I fully expected to be told that I was in the wrong and to stop turning it into such a big issue. My partner ended up seeing the post and he wasn't happy about it. He made me delete the account and punished me for making him look bad in front of strangers. It took me until this morning for your words to truly sink in, so I just accepted it. I'm currently in the hospital after I had to beg him to go. I had surgery immediately and will be released tomorrow. I won't go back to him. He basically confirmed everything you said but I was too stupid to realize it. After punishing me he literally said, "This time you're lucky, next time I'll unalive you." I have a friend at uni that my partner doesn't know about. He'll pick me up and help me get my important things from my partner's house while he's at work. I'll also be staying with him for a while. I'm still scared that he'll somehow find out, but even if that happens I'll have somebody with me.
My boyfriend's mother keeps putting an ingredient I'm allergic to in her food. I have a garlic allergy. It's not lethal, and I definitely wouldn't get anaphylaxis or something from it. The problem is that I get asthma if I eat it and it'll really mess with my digestion later. Everyone in my life knows that I can't have garlic and I won't have garlic. It makes eating out a nightmare because of how prevalent it is. So usually my boyfriend and I have date nights at our apartment and we cook for each other. But my boyfriend's mom has a family tradition and she insists we all come to dinner at least once a month. She's a fantastic cook and usually a really nice lady to be around, but there's one problem. She wants me to come every time, but she always adds garlic to every dish. At this point, I've just started taking an inhaler and just eating the Hawaiian rolls she always serves. My boyfriend drives us, and we just go get fast food right after. We've talked to her over and over again about the garlic. I've asked her over and over to please not use garlic. And she says she doesn't understand how it's such a big deal because it's not like you'll die. I've tried skipping the meals, but she throws a fit and drags her entire family into it. I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years now and I'm best friends with his sister. I'm at my wit's end. How do I get this through to her? Edit. I have brought my own food to her house before, usually something simple like a mac and cheese. I did it twice, but both times she was angry and basically made for an incredibly unhappy evening. Update. To those of you who said she just didn't like me, you were 100% correct. Yesterday, my boyfriend and I had a long talk about how bothersome his mother's refusal to take out garlic is. He agreed that we should skip the dinner until she takes it out. Something about it still bothered me, so I ended up calling her and just bluntly asking her. She kept evading the question, saying she's just a garlic lover, that she doesn't understand what the big deal is. Finally, after like 30 minutes of back and forth, she finally admitted that she just doesn't like me. I think I'm correct in drawing the conclusion that she was trying to drive me from her family with garlic shenanigans, but maybe I'm just overthinking, I don't know. Anyways, I asked if it was because of my job, receptionist, my age, background, whatever. And she just flat out told me that she doesn't like that I have my septum and tongue done, and that I color my hair unnatural colors. She thinks it's unprofessional and proves that I'm too much of a wild child to date her son. Which sucks, because I really like this woman, but I guess she was just polite out of courtesy rather than actually liking me herself. After I ended the call, I went to go find my boyfriend and he basically fessed up and said that yeah, his mother was not a fan and kept basically hinting that we should break up. Mostly by mentioning stuff like my friend Jenny has such a cute daughter and that sort of thing. Which hurts like HLL, but I'm glad I know. Anyways, my boyfriend and his sister have both agreed to just start up a group dinner once a month. I'm going to stop going to the dinners, and my boyfriend will just go without me. Update 2. I can officially say I've gotten the ick. This man sucks. I broke up with him and basically spent the day fielding text from him asking what the F was going on and why I was freaking out over his mom. As I said in the update, I got the ick. The more I thought about how he didn't defend me to his mother, refused to tell me about her underhanded tactics, the more I just didn't like him anymore. It was like a switch flipped. So when he woke up, he got a call from me saying this wouldn't work out. We had a long conversation that basically turned into him being defensive. In the end, I was firm. I also sent a text to his sister along the lines of, if you've got questions, ask your brother, before I blocked her, of course. It's kind of SHT that I lost my best friend and my boyfriend, but on the bright side, at least it wasn't cheating and they just suck.
Try to shame me for having poor grades in front of our entire family? I'll spill the ugly truth about you to everyone. I need to begin by saying that I'm an average student, usually getting okay grades like B's and C's. Recently, I got a job, and that affected my grades. Where I used to get B's, I started getting C's, and some C's became D's. I wasn't happy about it, so I asked my teachers for more work to help raise my grades. After a while, I managed to improve my grades. But here's the problem: my stepdad, Jim, kept complaining about my D grades. He went so far as to talk about my grades with his coworkers, even though they didn't know me. A few days ago, my mom, Nicole, Jim, and I had dinner with some of Jim's family members. It was supposed to be a casual meeting. But as soon as Jim had the chance to speak, he started talking about how I had D's in all my classes, which wasn't true, and he said I was ruining our family's reputation. I didn't understand what he meant. He gave me a smug look and asked if I really wanted to end up with nothing in life, working at McDonald's in jail because of my bad grades. My mom told him to stop, but I was really angry. I looked at him and said, "You want to talk about me so much? Why don't we talk about you? Your own kids don't talk to you because they think you're a piece of poop. Your ex-wife left you because you cheated and lied, and she even talked about it on Facebook, saying she was surprised you could even get it up well enough to cheat." Everyone either laughed at him or stared at him in shock. After the evening was over, during the car ride home, Jim was yelling at me about respect and how I shouldn't be revealing everything that happens. He claimed it was just a joke, but he said that what I did was because of my anger. I didn't care much about what he said, but when we got home, he went to bed, and my mom talked to me, saying that what I did was wrong and that I should apologize.